All right, so we are rolling. Everybody, thank you for tuning into the Rob Anderson Show. We've got Joy coming live from Texas once again. The first time we did our show, we kind of just got into talking and tried recording, and we didn't really have a direction or talk about, what Joy's got going on. So Joy, just tell the audience a little bit about who you are, where you're located, how things have been going for you during this pandemic, and how you've dealt with it, and where you are now and where you're going to be.
Well, thank you, Rob, for having me on here. Yeah, it was really cool that being on there and just, letting the conversation flow. I really like that, enjoyed that. Well, for me, I'm an author. And one of the things that I've learned working in the food industry was that the food industry was my second job. My passion was my first job. And it took a long road, a lot of decades. And I'm still in the food industry because that's my situation, where, trying to pay off debt, support the family, and realizing that this is our society where we need cash to get things paid for. And at the moment, because of my background, working my way up into the food industry and also doing marketing consultant, I made it to where it was like admitting the fact that I signed up for that job.
Yeah.
I walked into the interview, signed up for that. And it taught me a lot on how to run a business. And in the pandemic here for the food industry, it's actually been better because people, it was either like, they don't have enough supplies, so they need to go and get food.
Yeah.
They didn't like for the jobs. It was more like they were bare bones.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, you need to step up your performance because guess what? They're going to start cutting people.
Yeah.
And then some of it was, getting cut financially reasons, like they couldn't afford employees and they could only afford a certain amount. So then seniority kind of thing kept like, we're going to keep these people, we got to let you go kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I took it as this gave me time, that this was the perfect way to have time with family and renew all the issues that has been there.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm like a train, you tell me, look, this is what I want to get done. I'm like, boom, here's some ideas and let's go. And I run, like I floor it.
Yeah.
But my family, they're not like that. My kids aren't like that. So this had really taught me that, what, I need to pace myself with them, like as if I'm walking next to them, like we're going on a trail or a walk. Am I really going to keep going, like, keep stepping 5 steps ahead? Because
why can't you keep up with me?
Like, that's my pace, that's my pace. I want it, I mean, so I had to realize that it's not all about me. What's about me is about how do I put my best self first, like how do I put my best performance out, how do I put not being selfish, not pitting myself. So with my books that I was able to apply last year, I finally just applied them. Like I finally started somewhere and I applied it, and in 1 year alone I've already gotten 2 books done.
Nice.
So I'm really excited to see, like, look, all these decades I held myself back for what?
Yeah.
And I was a workaholic for what? Just to get fired, or just to, not be happy? Like one of the 2 reasons that happened to me. Yeah. So it was like realizing, seeing, like being grateful, like I have a home, I have a family, I love them, and just being grateful that I have that in my life, because I know from a teenager how you can lose everything. And there was no pandemic happening. My dad lost his job. Yeah. They couldn't have rent. They couldn't have a place to stay. They couldn't find a job that could support 5 kids. Yeah. And they didn't like go out of their way to just like go to McDonald's and just get something rolling, like cash rolling to pay off things. Yeah. So when this pandemic happened, I was like, if I got to get 2 jobs, if I got to, let's start selling these books. Let's start, whatever I got to do. I'm just like, I'm going to go do it. Because I have done it before. I have worked 2 jobs. I have, when I was the first one to go to college in our family and the second one to get the diploma. So I didn't finish college. The thing is, I still started college full time plus working full time.
Yeah.
So I knew that, look, you're sleeping 6 hours, maybe. I think the least for me was 5 hours, but the most is like 10. So it's like, how's your days going to go? Well, when I'm off, guess what? I'm going to sleep in a little bit. When I'm working, guess what? I'm going to sleep so much so I can get the full day out of it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that was like that kind of routine, plus when you have babies, you just kind of have to go with it.
Yeah.
And then seeing like, trying to tell the staff, don't think about like what you're seeing on the news and stuff, because they're going to report whatever they're going to report, whatever stories they're going to find, whatever they're going to do. The thing is, like, really being aware of what's happening in your state, that, whatever is going to happen outside, it's going to happen no matter what, good or bad. It's going to happen no matter what.
And
the
sometimes
thing
it's
is,
like yeah, we get bombarded with it. And a lot of the times it's like, like I try to just turn the news off and take it in small doses. And if so it's tough, especially if you're leading the staff, right? And you got to be,
yeah. Well, the other thing that I tried to tell the staff is, I was like, well, what's going on in your life? Are your bills paid? Yeah. You have a job? Yeah. So why are you unhappy? And then and for me, I really like how the mind works and how like, different layers of like programming there is and brainwashing, like that. And I love bringing like a twist to everything. So it's like the way I have my website, Inspired by Joy.
Yeah.
I'm Joy.
Yeah.
And whenever I tell people, oh, that's my website, they're like, you're not Joy. I'm like, no, that's my real name. So it's like doing stuff like that. What do I love? I love to inspire. Guess what? You're going to have joy in your life. So it's like, I get to play on words like that. And I love doing
cool
stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's like, honestly, it's good vibes too, because like when I see your emails come through, I'm like, oh, joy, literally.
yeah. And then it's like, you can't help but smile, so what is it? I love taking on challenges. I love just really seeing what you can truly create and like how, like, I love taking pictures in the way of like, so I did like a body transformation, and I love doing like before and after. And I've always loved like those before and after pictures and stories and all that. But I also love, like, there's pictures of me where I didn't put my best self first, and it's like bad performance, bad attitude. And you can just like literally see that. So I really love seeing how what you put out, how you put it out, and it literally, like, this is what you're showing. Because sometimes we get stuck in our head, we don't really realize like what our appearance are, what are we putting really out there.
Like a lot of things, I totally agree. Like, just sometimes when I notice myself, sometimes I'll be like, I think I'm scowling my forehead, and it's like, why might I have tension in there? And I try to take a deep breath, and just like, sometimes we just don't even notice where we're, we might be just like, growl, like just weird little things. But it's coming to the awareness of like, like, oh, just shake it off, take a deep breath. I do like a lot. Do you ever hear of Wim Hof, the Wim Hof breathing method?
I don't know. I just know if you say breathing method, I'm like, okay, I can do that, but I don't know any type of labels.
Well, Wim Hof, he's like this, he's this gentleman. I don't know what his age is, but he's older than I am. So I would say he's probably in his, he's probably, I feel like he's one of those guys that might be older and he looks a lot younger than he is because what he does, but who knows? So he's probably in his mid 50s, but he talks about his wife. I think they had 4 kids or something like that. And his wife went through a bad time and ended up committing suicide. And it was like the worst time of his life. And he went, like, one thing led to another, and he went through a tough time, and he started developing this breathing method, and like hot and cold like breathing method, and like cold showers, and then submerging and swimming under the ice, like, and really battling you know, with just, I don't know what you'd say, like what you call it, but like taking the next breath and really pushing yourself beyond the boundaries of what, and it's like hyper oxygenating your blood. So if you do it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, it's like having 2 cups of coffee without the jitters. You're just, and so
Oh,
I've been doing it for about 2 years. Look into it. It's Wim Hof. I think it's
wow.
WIMHOF.
Okay.
Yeah.
WIMHOF.
Yeah. It's honestly, Joy, it's transformed my life. It helped me quit smoking. If I have anxiety, if something's like really stressing me out, I just go lay down and I do that. And it's like meditation. But like I said, it alkalizes your blood. So it's apparently it hyperoxygenates your blood. So if you're tense, if you get in an argument with somebody, or if there's something stressing you out and you just go do it. And it took me a while to like actually get through it when I first started doing it, because I didn't have the discipline and I would drift and I'd start thinking about the day. So yeah, it takes the focus, but it's wonderful. So I'd suggest if you
Okay,
ever
I
feel
like
like,
that. Yeah.
yeah, like
I like different techniques that you can find out, because like when you're in the food industry, you're working so fast. You don't, you know, sometimes it's like the crowd's coming to want to eat and you're like, here's your food.
yeah. Well, it
So,
increases, it's true. It increases your lung capacity, but also how I don't breathe so shallow anymore. Like when I first started, like I was a smoker, I smoked almost a pack a day, and I couldn't even hold my breath for 30 seconds. And I haven't timed myself, but within a month or two, I was holding my breath for over 3 minutes. I think my best was 3 minutes and 17 seconds. And so like, it just increases your lung capacity. I find myself, you don't get so flustered as easily because you're in this deep breathing state. Everything's kind of flowing a bit better. So now it's like, I'm very cognizant of when I start feeling any anxiety or tension, or if I take on somebody else's vibrations, I'm like, okay, I need to just do this and get in that, like, you know, in that deep breathing, heavy state where you're just, it's just you push everything else to the outside. It's wonderful.
that's cool. I'll look into that. Like with me, I like the power of words, not just because I write, but also I really believe in like what you say you are. So like whenever I feel people's energy, like, you know, you're not going to bring me down because you got issues. You know, I didn't start my day out thinking this way or being a specific, you know, downer. I just am enjoying life. Right. And so when I feel that, I'm like, I am joy, I am good, I am calm. Like, you know, I know it's like the positive affirmations kind of thing. I'm going to do some videos in the future about that. Maybe turn them into meditation. I don't know. But for me,
like sleep meditations.
No. Okay. So, you know, I don't know if you remember seeing that story I talked about with the out of body experience while driving. I listen to meditation music while driving.
Oh, okay.
And
is that safe, Joy?
It's calm. You don't need road rage.
Yeah, that's probably a
helps
good
with
point.
road rage.
Yeah.
No, but that's my way of unwinding all that stress from work, you know, because here you're working like 8 to 12 hours in the food industry, and you know, you're dealing with all kinds of people, all ages, all craziness. So I needed to find ways to calm myself and find ways to, and what's crazy is every experience I gone through, whether it's like divine or dimensional or whatever you experience, like in dreams and all that, it really, like, I would feel, you know, I want to listen to some meditation music, or, you know, I want to meditate, or like you're saying, hey, check out this breathing, like we met, hey, check out this different technique. Guess what? It's another technique I get to learn, I get to experience. And like for the power of words, like like with the power of prayer, it really resonates with me because of the experiences I had as a child and how I got through certain situations in my life, and how to be my own and not let other people's influence change who I really am. So I use a lot of I am, whatever, you know, I am, and just fill in
that's
the
very
blank.
powerful because you make it you. Like I a lot of time I've totally changed. Well, not totally. I'm getting there. I'm trying to remember, but I've changed my language a lot the past few months. Just like instead of like a few months ago, one friend that I was really like inspired by his writing and his vlogs and stuff, and you know, because I honestly, like the past year with everything, I started kind of almost having like a lack mentality. Like even I was trying to, you know, it just seemed like I was losing hope. Like there wasn't, not a lot of people like around me gave me the kind of hope I needed, or
Yeah.
I couldn't generate it for myself, whatever it was. I just, and so, yeah, I drifted, and I totally forgot what I was going to say.
You went into your darkness and you were coming out of it. That's
Oh yeah. So what I
there you
started,
go.
what I started saying was, how can I can afford that now? Because before I was looking at a part for my motorcycle and I was like, oh, I can't afford that. And I was like, no, I remember what he said. And I said, I can afford that now. And I just went, like, I honestly, like, I only had a couple $100 in my bank, and I was like, like I was humming and hawing, and I was like, this, I want, like, it's going to be make me so happy. It's worth the money. Like, you have to do the things that make, like, that you love. And if you can't do the things you love in life, and like, for me, that's just part of what I love is motorcycles. So I was like, I can afford this now. And I took the plunge, and you know what? I've had so much more abundance since that day, since I said I can afford this now. Instead of like, oh, right now is not a good time or whatever. We can always make excuses, and the power of suggestion. You're just suggesting to yourself that.
Yeah, and especially if you kind of have like a problem solving type brain, you're like, no, I can figure this out. I can control this. I can do all that, because I'm big on like what helped me not being a controller, and I'm really big on I'm managing businesses, right? And you have to make hard decisions, so you tend to be like, let me crack that whip, but the thing is, like, my belief system in business, I've actually applied it and actually works, and the abundance was there. So I was like, I can do that in my own life. I can actually do that and learn. And what helped me was like seeing that, not thinking so negatively, like not seeing like, you prepare for the worst kind of thing, but in your mind, for me, was not seeing it so vividly real, that I am unable to achieve this, or I'm unable to do this. What helped me was, how responsible am I being? Do I have to get that $3 worth of coffee, or can I invest that $3 into a little bucket for what I want to buy, and then my dreams. I really love that, this one dream that really came to me. And it's so powerful. Like, it's so awesome. It's going to be one of my sci-fi books I'm going to put out in a few years. But the pictures are so vivid. The colors are so beautiful. And the thing I got from that dream, other than, what I'm going to create in another book, was when I woke up, I saw the inner me of how I have to let go of control, how controlling I'm being, how it's not loving to me or to others, and not let go, and to be like, let it be this. It's more like, just enjoy the ride, enjoy the process. Like, if certain things, like for me, I really had to learn about how other people are, and that was their choice to be, and because I'm like a big crybaby, I get my feelings hurt real easily, but I try not to show it. So, and that's just from being the only girl out of all boys.
I get that, because I'm the firstborn grandson out of 11 women, so like I gotta be the man.
You're spoiled.
Yeah, but I also
you want what you want. You want what you want.
I get what I want.
Yeah. All right, I know now. Okay. the the 2-letter word for you is no.
Actually, I'm not that bad. I'm pretty laid back and chill. Like, I actually like what you said about control, is that I've learned, did we talk about when I severed my thumb off last time, and I learned to just like,
a little bit, but not in detail.
So I learned to like take a step back and realize that there's so much we don't have control over. And it was like, I started adopting the, like, go as fast as you can, but make haste slowly, like festina lente, I think is in Latin. And like my buddy mentioned that, because I was like, slow is smooth is fast or something. And he said, yeah, festina lente. And I had to really adopt that one after this, because like there was so much I didn't have control over. And you know, I'm like, oh my God, you just, something like that happens, and it's life changing, right? Like I lost the whole top part of my thumb. So like from the knuckle upwards. And like I used to do magic tricks. So I did a lot of things, art, and like, but the magic and the card manipulation, that was like the hardest thing for me to understand. So to like change my life and say, okay, like I don't have control over the fact that my thumb's not coming back. And it resonated like throughout my life. So when people like, it's almost like I needed it to happen, because after that, when things didn't go my way, I was like, well, you know what? Nobody lost a thumb, so it's okay. You know? Like it changed my perception of what mattered in life. You know, like, so, and I was always a pretty laid back guy, like, you know, like things go your way and things don't, and you just got to kind of flow with it. And some people get mad at me because they think I'm too laid back, you know.
Oh, well, I mean, you have to learn like your battles, you know. Do you want to come in with the solution, or do you want to try and say, look, I'm going to process this way a little bit differently to where I'm not enraged, or I'm not giving myself a heart attack because of, you know, because of what, you know. It's like, if you ask yourself, well, what solution do you have?
Yeah.
Are you going to complain about it, or are you going to solve it? And I had to learn that. I had to learn to stop being a complainer. Like I have a few ideas, because like for me, I see things like a movie or like a video game. Like, so all these ideas I write down, because like I want to bring these stories into movies, like short little, not really like soap opera movies kind of thing. Like, cause I like the way there's certain reality shows, the way it's filmed with specific lenses and cameras. I have specific subject matter that I want to use for, you know, to bring those stories into light. Like, because so many people are visual learners, and like the way I chose to put out my stuff in the platforms is I would use like Facebook and Twitter, like the newspaper. You know, people read the newspaper, but it's a bunch of words. If you're a visual learner, you're just like saying, is this a word search thing? It's just all words. And then I use my Instagram as like an art gallery of those words. So when I was starting with quotes, like trying to figure out, look, I really need to be that author, because it's aching. Like I would literally just yearn for it. It was so like, the calling was there, and it was so hard to smile at work, because it was just feeling this like hunger to feed my soul kind of thing. And once I started applying to say, look, I'm going to start somewhere. And so I started with quotes, or I started with what was coming to me, or like certain things like, you know, that'd be funny on the t-shirt. I want to write that. Like stuff like that.
So many things would be good on t-shirts. I wish I had like just a random t-shirt of the day generator and I could pull one out, because I'll wake up one morning and I'll be like, oh, I wish I had a t-shirt that said this, you know. I don't need a whole bunch of them, just one for the day. Like
yeah. I actually will spend a little bit of extra money to get that, like just to be like, you know, I really want that, so I'm going to save up and get it.
It's cool, because it's like t-shirts are like, and they always just stick around too. Like even when it's like old, like I have t-shirts that are like way older than I want to admit on TV. I guess this is on YouTube, but like, you know what I mean? But they still, it's like, they're like, some people buy vintage t-shirts that look like that. Like, so it's like, I can't let go of them. I have a problem with letting go of old things, I guess.
Yeah. Well, what's your full name? Is it Roberto, or is it Robert, or?
It's Robert. Yeah, I guess like on my ID, it's Robert, but like everybody calls me different things. Like I always have nicknames for people, and so I don't mind if people have nicknames for me, as long as it's not like derogatory. If it's in good spirit, like you can call me whatever you want, you know, like.
No, I was asking because what you're talking about, how laid back you are, and what you learned and all that. With Robert, it's do you know the meaning of your name?
Like not well, like I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, so one of the things I'm going to create is this name game. And for Robert, it's like, you know, it used to be royalty type sons that were named Robert. But it's also, you're like the lighthouse for others. You are the light that shines to help others, to show this is the area that I can guide you. and you're the lighthouse.
Oh,
And
cool.
you are Robert. It's how you shine.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks for sharing that with me. I have to write that
Yeah.
down.
Yeah,
That's
I'm planning next year because it's going to take me quite a few months to do the whole name generation, like generator kind of thing.
yeah.
And I want to do in I don't want to just do in English, but I'm going to start, of course, I speak English, so I'm going to start with English. But I do want to do it in different languages. I might, I don't know how I'm going
How
to
do you
do
do
it
it in
yet.
different languages? Is it?
Well, that's what I'm going to look into, because I have a connection that can do things in different languages for the country. But my concern is more like I want it like your name means something. The
Yeah.
power of your name,
Yeah.
it has a meaning to it. And this one lady I worked with, her name was Misty.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, but my name is just Misty, like you're Misty Eye. I was like, what are you talking about? No, you're not. And she's like, what are you talking about? I said, look, if the meaning of your name is not what you're satisfied with, then what's the acronym of your name?
Yeah.
How your name brings that purpose. And so I did like a little drawing of Niagara Falls, and there's a picture of Niagara Falls with this rainbow. And I talked to her about how the mist that she brings is the rainbows in our life.
Cool.
And it was really neat to, because I've like, and why I'm so leaning toward names, not just because I'm Joy, is that when I had my epiphany of going through my barriers and stuff, the one question was, how am I bringing my life purpose? And I was, workaholic, and I had my fourth baby. And so I'm having all these internal things about, because the CEO I was working for, he really wanted us managers to really like, how do we apply ourselves, not just in our business life, but in our personal life, how those two worlds do intertwine with each other.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot of like internal thinking. And then I was like, what's my name? And I'm like, I'm Joy. Yes, but are you really Joy?
Are you exuding your
no.
name? Yeah. Like,
yeah, I like, I'm not even applying my, like, who I am.
yeah.
So then that's when I stopped, and everything happens in the car, because that's my sanctuary. So I'm at a red light,
Yeah.
and it hit me, and I was like, I am Joy. I need to be Joy.
Yeah.
And I will become Joy. And that's when I owned my name.
Nice.
And that's when all those little ideas like came to me, like being bored at work. So being bored at work, we made like a game of your name. And then I started really looking into meanings of names and specific people that worked with me, and what was the meaning of the name behind it, the ancestry line. And then I work with a lot of Hispanics, and they have different names that I cannot pronounce, and I'm like, look, you got to shorten your name, because I can't roll my R's. I won't even try another language, because it's like I'm actually going to make a little character soap opera theme, and I already wrote the script of it. But basically it's like, yeah, Joy, don't even try to speak another language. It's so bad. And but I would ask them, like, what like city are you from? What's it like? What's the history of your family line and all that? And they would be very proud and be like, oh yes, this is my name, this is that. And I got to see like how like they're shining light, and I got to see like, look at this love that they have for their family, for this, for who they are. And I'm like, I want to create something there. There's something there.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm just thinking and writing stuff down.
I think it's cool. Like I totally, like I have, strangely enough, I have Googled other people's names. I don't know why. Like, I guess like, yeah, for just I forget, because I remember one time my friend Sarah said her name meant princess, and so I Googled it just to make sure.
No.
And,
I'm not gonna call you princess. Wait a minute.
yeah. And I was like, but so yeah, I think there's so many things and like I'm really, starting to understand the power of words too. And I think a lot of them is interesting with language and you know how they have, it seems like some companies or some people use there's a company that like it translates like our conversation, it would translate at the bottom of the screen for different languages. And somebody had reached out to me and I thought about that because I was on Nicholas's show and it was like the stuff that we were talking about. Somebody in the comments said, "Oh my God, I love this information. This should be translated into different languages, including sign language." And I was like, wow, like I don't have the
Yeah.
resources to pay somebody to, I'm glad that she thought what we were talking about was important enough to be translated into other languages. So I guess we were talking about things that were resonating with people, right? But yeah, there's so much power to the words, but I also think that I'm very, like tone and like like I'm very musical, like you can use words, but if they have like bad tone, like you could say shit and it's negative, but you can be like shit and it's not like, no, it's like how you say it too, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not just the word, it's the
Yeah.
inflection. And so like some people could say things and they might say like, but there's like condescending tone to it, or there's like there's attitude behind it, and so how you say it is very much dependent upon what you say too, right?
Yeah, and for me, with someone with no filter, I just, believe me, I spent years trying to tune how and what I say things, because I got zero filter. And what I'm learning now is the intention toward people, because there's some like my son, he wants to be an auto mechanic, but he has that kind of like that analytical side to him where it's like, I said this, and it's like,
tell him you know somebody that lost a thumb doing mechanics.
it's okay. I mean, hey, it comes with the territory. That's what I would
Just
say.
tell him to be careful.
I took mechanics in high school for a year.
Yeah.
So and I love cars. So
just tell him to be careful, because just when you think it can't happen to you, because it's something I was doing for 30 years and it just one, like it's like texting and driving, like, oh no, I can do it, and it's like you do it once and yeah, I'm paying for it. So
yeah, that reminds me of a TV show where the guy's like, I want to build this in my house, but I don't want to pay for it. And he goes, and there goes his finger.
Oh,
it's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, okay, if I can't do it myself, I'm going to pay someone to do it. Like that's where, but what I was saying is like, and I'm seeing this with other people, is like, okay, are they really being petty? Like, are they petty? Okay, they are petty. And that's because I'm just Joy. I'm like the cheerleader. So I'm like, hey guys, everyone, so I don't see their intention. I don't see like, oh, were they trying to hurt my feelings? Because it didn't get to me. I mean, I don't care what they say. So it never like bothered me. But the thing that I noticing how like when you're coming to situations of resolvement, like how to resolve issues or come with solutions, I'm finding out like intention plays a part.
Yeah.
And what I'm finding out with certain people is I'll ask them the questions like, are you upset? And then they're like, no, why? And then it's like, okay, there's two things going on. One, they got some internal underlining issues that, because when you start really putting forth being enlightened in a way, or really I would say shine your light, because I rather say shine your light in the light beings, because of what I literally saw as a child. What I ask them and find out is because when you really start shining your light, you start triggering people's inner working. And to me, that's because you're the guide in their path at the moment, and you're shining an area that they want to hide from.
Yeah.
And then that's when I'll find out, okay, they're not mad at me. Their intentions are not, like their intentions is not to say it with an attitude, but the attitude's there.
Yeah. And
so it's like, all right, they grew up in all this dysfunction, that they have this like, it's like, cartoons, animes, or specific characters that you're like, they have drilled into That's just how their character is.
Yeah, well,
And they have to learn, like,
it's where
so
they
it's like
come from.
I'm
Yeah.
right. And so for me, I'm looking at all those different levels, like,
Yeah.
and
You have to, you're very aware, right?
yeah,
You have to be, because
yeah,
it's like most times when people are like, if they're snippy, if they're short, if they're an asshole, whatever they're acting like, and the same goes for me, but I always say, what's the underlying problem? But I look at them and say, like, what caused them to get there? Because I know, like, even especially with family, like, a lot of times when I get in arguments with people, it's like, I know that it's not them. It's like, it's a fear, or it's something that's unresolved.
yeah.
Like, and lots of times I try not to take things to heart, because it's like, everybody's got their own issues, right? And it's like, what caused that person to get to that rage, or to that, like, what's going on in their life that makes them act like that?
Yeah, and I'm finding out too, like you said, not take it to heart, because I took everything to heart.
Yeah.
And that's just because you have a big heart to want to help and share and love and all that, right? The thing that understanding, like you're saying, understanding their perspective, where it's like they're loving you because they're so afraid and in fear that they're seeing a side that that's their perspective.
Yeah.
And for them to get angry, or like, why should you do that? You're just wasting your time. Like, that's what I get. Why should you do that? Why are you writing books? You're just wasting your time. And it's like, well, that's not wasting my time, because
That's your
it's feeding.
perception of it, like,
Right.
yeah.
And then I started thinking, wait a minute, what are they really afraid of? They're afraid that I'm going to lose my job. They're afraid, like, it's not like it's, and that's why I call it like that coach in your life.
You know what? They're afraid of failure, and they think you're going to fail, and you're just going to be like, like, because I get that too, because I've been saying I've been going to write a book for 20 years, and it's like, everybody's always like, it takes time sometimes, and everybody's like, oh, like, where's your book? Like, they just look at you like you're a failed author or something,
Right.
like, wow.
Well, and the other thing too is like, and I have this problem too, where it's like, are you really telling the right people that does support you?
Yeah.
For me, it's like, nope, get on the intercom. I don't care if you support me. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it, because if I hear myself say it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is I've learned not to share. You don't have to tell people your dreams, because most people, it's like, what I've learned is everybody wants the best for you, as long as it's not better than them. So if you're like, oh, I'm working on $1 million book deal, and they're not a millionaire, they're going to be like, oh, like, that's, like, that's just the way people are. Like, no, I've realized so many people are not in your corner. It's like, it's like separating the wheat from the chaff, or whatever it's called, it's like,
and that's so true. I love
shake the
that.
sieve and see the gold come out, and you get a lot of crap that falls through the cracks. And I've been doing that lately on my Facebook. It's like, I've been very biting my lip with some of the nonsense that's going on up here in Canada, and I've been like stating how I really feel on Facebook, and like, friends are just leaving. I was like, oh, let's aim for 11 unfriendings today, because it's like, I'm not putting up with the crap anymore. And it's like,
no, you shouldn't.
Yeah, like, and like, these lockdowns, and like, people are like getting upset if people don't wear masks. Like, that is that what we're worried about? There's a lot worse things in the world that are going on right now that need our attention than like, hey, you're not wearing a mask. Like, if you want to wear a mask and masks work, if you want to go get vaccinated, you want to wear a mask, you want to stay home, that's fine. The rest of us have to get back to work. Like, we just went into another lockdown here in Ontario, and I'm fed up. Like, I have to be on site to shoot video and work with clients sometimes, and it's like, I'm not spending another year on lockdown. It's just not happening. So,
hey, send me your PO box or mailing address. I have a thing that you can wear.
Yeah.
I don't know where's I can't get to it right now, but I'll send it to you. It's funny.
I wear my motorcycle helmet in places now, because I'm like, I'm not.
I would too. I would too if you have to. But I'll send it to you. So email me.
Okay.
And I'll send that to you. The thing is that here in Texas, we don't have to, but so many people are, because they're afraid. And my job, they said it's not required, it's requested, and it's your personal responsibility if you do choose. So I don't have to.
Nice. Well, that's why I'm looking at getting my own house, and I'm like, you know what, we have a team, and I'm trying to acquire a house that's big enough that that our team can all come and work there and feel safe.
Nice.
And not feel scared, because we were looking at like studios to shoot some of our videos and stuff, because we're starting something, I don't know if I told you, but we're starting something called the Quantum Lounge. So it's all about quantum physics, and there's 8 of us, and we're going to bring on guests and all that stuff. So, but yeah, like, I was looking into external studios, and I had friends looking at locations for us, and they're saying that yeah, you're still going to need to wear masks and all this stuff. And they're very strict. And I was like, okay, enough's enough. Like, I'm going to find a home that's comfortable, that I feel comfortable at, and that I can invite my family and friends and say, hey, you can wear a mask if you want to, but also we're not going to be. So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
up to
and you know, people don't realize, like, when what was it, before this pandemic, you know, it's like you need oxygen to breathe. Okay,
you.
so what are you filling your lungs up with? A mask that's not even going to, like, viruses can still get in. And then how many people are reusing those masks? It's so disgusting.
Yeah.
And then how often are they washing it, if they do wash it? And then they sneeze in it, and it's more disgusting. And then they're breathing in their carbon dioxide. Aren't we supposed to breathe it out so the trees can give us oxygen?
Yeah.
Like, wasn't that like what we learned in junior high? You know, so it, you know, and then the other thing is, like, if you're going to respect yourself and how you respect others, if, like you said, if you want to wear a mask because that makes you feel like a comfort blanket,
Yeah.
it's their blankie.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's on you.
if this is
You're
an airborne
good.
virus, like it's not going to stop anything, and it's not helping
No,
anything. Like
no.
it's all psychological. Like, you can go, I'm not going to educate people. You can go look at this. Like, I used to work, my first job was in a factory, and it was for brake parts for cars. And we had to wear like a rubber mask with canisters on the side. I don't even think that would stop a virus, but it would do a heck of a lot more than this little paper mask. Like, those are
Yeah.
for surgeons when they're operating, so they don't spit into an open cadaver, like open person,
Yeah.
and get
Yeah.
germs. It's for stopping the spread of germs, not viruses. Like, to me, like, sure, maybe this virus exists, but it's not airborne. It's something that we're all going to get, like a flu, right? It's not like contagion where it's in the air and like this is going to stop you from breathing it in. Like,
Yeah.
to me, it's paramount. Like, it's borderline, it's foolish, and it's like, I'm not going to be a part of it anymore. Like, I just don't know what I'm going to do. Like, either I'm going to do my shopping outside in the summer.
Well, no,
or,
you're gonna wait till I get you the package.
yeah.
You just wait. I'll send it to you. You'll laugh so hard. You'll be like, yeah, you're right.
Is
This
it,
is a mask I can wear.
it's going to
I'm
be,
serious.
I made
I'm serious.
on Facebook. I said, next, this is the thing, because I've been wearing my motorcycle helmet into the banks and the stores and stuff. But I was like, I had a picture of a full like metal suit of armor that I found on the internet. And I was like, this is what I'm wearing to the grocery store
Yeah,
next.
you should one day.
Oh my
And
God. My buddy said he would videotape
you
me.
have to. You have
Yeah,
to.
I
Yeah,
know.
you would have to get taped.
Yeah.
And then you would tell them, please, 6 feet away. You have to tell them 6 feet away, and you have to tell them, don't touch that with all your armor.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Like, so I don't know. Like, and I just feel bad for people. I see people on my street. Like, I live near farm country, people walking down the farm roads by themselves wearing masks. I saw somebody in their house wearing a mask in their own house. Yeah.
It shows to you, and this is what I love about learning, and I'm so proud of getting these books out, is because, like, just to see what fear can do to you. And this is the actions that they're taking. They're not even thinking about, oh, it's hurting my teeth, it's making my teeth bad. How many people are going to the dentist because they're breathing in all that carbon dioxide? They have all the germs that are staying around their mouth. How often are they drinking water? How often are they just going, like, taking those deep breaths in and out where they can?
Yeah.
And it's like, people, you know, I've seen people get nosebleeds because they're not getting enough oxygen to them. I've seen, you know, people sneeze in them, and it's like, everything you touch, you can get.
Yeah,
And
like,
when you grab anything, that your jacket, anything, it has those germs on there. So you know, so it's like all the logic has been thrown out, and now it's all emotional.
yeah.
Well, what's helping with you and me being aware of things is we're helping bringing that logic back to say, take a step back, what's your situation, and let's apply it.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And it's just, it just goes to show the amount of corruption in our governments though too, because it's like, and even on the levels where it's not corruption, the people below the levels of corruption, it's fear, right? Like, fear for their jobs, fear for
it's that,
because people are getting
story
fired over
of
this,
control
right?
and fear.
Yeah.
People are getting doxxed, and it's really sad, because it's like, but then at the same time, it's like, you know what, maybe it needed to give them that push, hard kick in the ass, for them to make a difference in their own life. you know, whether it's good. Like I always have to look at the good and in it, and the solution of it is because I know firsthand what fear can do to you. I know firsthand what irresponsibility can do for you. Even me, when I'm hypocritical, what it does to me, the effects of it, the results of it. And you know, it's a matter of seeing that take off, like I call it the veil of denial. Get some clear eyes, get over it. Let's do this. Let's go through this process that we need to go through.
Yeah.
And with the books that I've been putting out, it talks about the 7 deadly sins and the 7 virtues. And instead of it being a sin, I changed it to behaviors, because that's how I interpret it.
Yeah.
That they weren't sins, they were how you act, what you like. And I can't wait to do like a Halloween theme, because I call it like feeding the little monsters.
Yeah.
And that's just because of the comic book. He says Shazam, but Captain Marvel. I really like the theme because the monsters that shows is the monsters I've seen, you know, and so relatable. And then when you talk about the government doing that, I'm going to do another video, and all of these are like written out, like everything's like all processing, right? And it's basically about, it's kind of like the Matrix, but it's basically like we are in the hologram world, like Star Trek. You know, I love Star Trek Voyager, the holodeck. Yeah. So we're in the holodeck, and guess what? What world do we create? We create a world that has a government in it, or whatever is happening. But are we controlling it? No. Is it playing out? It's playing out.
Yeah.
Okay. What role are we going to do? Well, I'm not a governor. Okay. So that's not my role.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, can I bring solutions to the governor? Can I bring solutions to my community? Yes. How many people will listen? Maybe none. Okay. But then what about your house, your world? Like, you know, what's your world? The people that will listen, how helping them. And, you know, it grows little by little, but yeah, I have, oh man, I can't wait. I cannot wait for these videos, these stories.
They sound
I'm saving
awesome.
up money to get my own publishing company.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm using Amazon to do my first line of books, to kind of
Are
get
they
that
just ebooks,
author
or
feel. No, there you can get in hand, like, you know, here, I have them with me, because I was I'm going to do a recording of my books, because I'm looking into Audible.
Okay.
My uncle plays the piano, so I told him, look, I want to really keep it in the family, and since you play piano, you can do my piano work for Audible, and
nice.
I can read,
like in the background,
my books,
like background music while you're. So Audible, like you're gonna narrate, like read them out loud.
Read them out loud, like I would a bedtime story.
Yeah, cool.
But here.
Oh, sweet.
I don't know. Can you see?
Yeah, you'll have to send me the links, and so I can put them on the video, the YouTube video, if you have the links to the Amazon stuff.
Oh yeah, I will.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pillars in Business, The Leader Within is the first one, and then Pillars in Business, Productive Talking is the second one. And the way I wrote it is I wrote it like, you know what, there's going to be grammar errors probably in there and all that, but it's not my 100th book. It's my first.
Yeah.
It's
you know what, Joy?
That passion started.
Don't worry about it, because I noticed I read a lot of old books too, like now that they're out of, like, so you can find PDFs of books, you know, like anything that's over 50 years, you can just go download it, right? And you'd be surprised, like in the older books, because they had to, everything was typed on typewriters, each page, there's so many more spelling mistakes back then, because like everybody's like probably just like, you know what, don't retype it because it costs money to do. So you see so many spelling errors back in the day. So it's like, I think, you know, people who pay too much attention to that, I used to be a stickler for that, but it's like, nothing's perfect. Are you getting?
That's what held me back, because, you know, I don't have no degree in this, and the way I speak, I'm speaking from the heart. I don't like, I'm not, what is it? I've been around so many manipulators that I've seen how I'm just like disdained from that. Like, I'm like, oh, I know what kind of character you're playing, you know? And then I go all in like Ghettoville, like, let's do this. Like, and I have to kind of tone it down. But the thing is like, and I had to do that because I'm coming from a world where all you heard is, oh, you're smart if you get a degree. Oh, if you can speak right, you might
Yeah.
have this job. And then it's
I
like,
dropped out of university too. Like I
yeah,
went to school just to please my parents, and I wouldn't have gone had I not done it for them. And like I'm the kind of person, I found it slow. I don't know if we chatted about that, but I found university incredibly slow. So I hear what you're saying, and I was like, I'm not going to let my life be dictated by a couple little letters at the end of my name on a business card. Like
well,
I read more in 2 days than I ever did in a whole month of university now. Like it's just,
yeah, the hard knocks.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like this one lady who came to me because we would talk spiritually, and I always knew that there's a connection there, with the divine. And she told me, she says, Joy, when you're connected to divine, people will listen if they choose to listen. It
yeah,
doesn't matter if you said it correctly in
yeah,
someone else's eyes. What's important is if you have been given this gift, then share it,
yeah,
because how because it's going to go to someone else if you're not willing to step up.
yeah. It's
And then
true.
when I heard that, I felt like I'm not willing to even step up to my own dreams and goals that I even see myself speaking and doing and creating. And it just like almost like broke me down. Like I held myself back.
Yeah, no,
I'm trying not to tear up.
well, no, it's good that you come to that awareness, because did you go through the FTP things with Aaron and everybody like last week, or like or were you on the board before, or did you actually go through all, because they talked a lot about that,
Like
right?
I just signed up,
Okay.
and I haven't been on their Zoom thing because the last time I tried to go on the Zoom, it was filled up with over 100 people, so I couldn't. And
Oh,
then the next one with the time, I couldn't.
yeah, okay, I was just
Because
wondering. Yeah,
I work nights, and the only time I have is on my lunch break. So 30 minutes a day is snowball.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, because I was just trying to, because there was a lot of discussions and so many realizations that I came to, and it's like it was so powerful,
And see, I'm like I signed up to get those small details that I was missing, like your thumbnails on your YouTube channel.
yeah,
How do they look? How are they inspired? What's the whole purpose of that kind of thing? And I needed to hear that. And the other thing is, I love learning from other people's experiences because they've already walked certain steps that you either hopscotch against.
yeah,
And like with my experience, I'm from the business world. you
yeah,
know in the food industry, people look down upon us like we're the slaves of the world kind of thing. Oh, you're a cashier. Oh, you're serving. You don't want to be flipping burgers. You don't want to be dropping fries. You don't want to be this. You don't want to be that. Well, guess what? All that language makes it harder for me to inspire people to say, look how good you are. Look at your
yeah,
multitasking skills. You're able to listen to me giving you direction while you're smiling to the guests. You're
yeah,
able to be clean and have a clean uniform, taking care of yourself. Look at you, you're doing wonderful. And they don't even like, the society has made it known to where it's like, oh, you're in the food industry, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, no, I have a brain, I can learn, I
yeah.
have hands, I can take action.
I think
But
that's
do I,
changing now with all the cooking shows, because I think a lot of people, I've always had a respect for it because I have lots of friends and family who work in that industry. It's like, and I hate when people like isolate industries, and I know exactly what you're saying, because I hear
but the
people.
thing is that this is what's so stupid about them saying that. uh the food industry is like in the what, billions to trillions.
Yeah,
So you're telling me that I'm in an industry that can make that much money
yeah,
and I don't know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, like,
that seriously, like, you want to say this person who's a billionaire, millionaire, who I'm going to hang on to every word they say because they got lots of cash in their pockets.
yeah,
But the industry you're working in, you're learning from those deep pockets.
yeah,
So it's like, hey, guess what? You get to learn how to have deep pockets, how to, what you got to go through, how you got to go through all the different layers and the whole, aspects of it, and resources. That's one thing with FTP that really helped me is be open to your resources. That's not all on you.
yeah,
Like, it's okay to say, hey, with your skills, what can what can I pay you for to help me with this? Like,
yeah,
because your skill set, I need for what I want to achieve, as an example.
That's what I realized from FTP was that like, I didn't realize how many people out there actually needed my services. And it's like, cause it was so right. Aaron said something like, I've literally like, it's embarrassing saying this as a man, but there was nights where like I'm running my business and I don't know, like I can't find the right person for this. And I was like crying, like, I'm like, how am I going to get this done? I don't know how to do it myself. I don't know who to hire, like somebody that I trust. And so that resonated with me, that there could be somebody out there that's like crying themselves to sleep one night because you're not stepping up into your role, and like somebody needs you and you don't even realize it. And like, that was like the biggest awakening for me, because it's true, because as soon as I got into FTP, like, it's not like something like I haven't even, like, I almost have too much business coming my way, if that makes sense. Like, there's so many people that I haven't got back to yet. Like, I have my emails filling up, my inbox is filling up, my Facebook, like people are like, hey, Rob, like, and it's wonderful because they're offering services and business and need my help. But like, I just didn't realize there was that much of a demand, and it's awesome. Like it's a great group. So like, it's really cool.
That's good. That's really good. Like, I know with me being in the food industry, I know it's a little different, but like with me building up my business on the side and my whole passion with the school academy that I'm going to bring to this world. And I'm going to start with a virtual, you saw that, I'm going to start in the virtual world first, because that's in my budget and that's what I can do. So I'm going to start there. And it's so, and I just got the name for it and it's amazing. It's wonderful. I mean, I'm just,
I think you mentioned it a little bit, so I'm looking forward to hearing about it. Like, you probably have to go now, like,
I do have to go, but what I wanted to end with this was that, like, what helped me try to build up my little crew, and I can do this at work because it's really easy to really help people. Like for me, it's really easy to help people bring that passion to life, to really say what's within you. Is I would ask them, look, I'm really wanting to find the best of the best. I said, but if you, let's get away from money. No one gets paid here. There's no money involved. What would you truly love to do? Like truly love to say, I can see myself do this.
Yeah.
And this one girl says, I really would love to be in charge of a charity, this and this charity thing. And I look at her, I say, guess what? You're going to be my charity director one day. And she says, what? Because I don't have the money for that yet, but guess what? It's crochet. I crochet. And this charity is about keeping families warm. And so I said to her, one day I'll have that charity up. I already have a name for it. And I've already done a few things on the side. But the thing is that it's not, and this is why I lean toward that, as that business part of it for charity, is because it's not consistent yearly. It's only consistent during winter times, which is seasonal. And my thing was seasonal. What's out there that's seasonal? Charity functions. Charity functions are always seasonal. They work yearly, but the function of what the money that they raise helps them get through that year. So I was like, look at this is perfect. And then this cook that I have right now, he's like, I asked him the same question, because I can tell, being empathic, you can kind of feel, look, someone's going through an issue, your lines cross for a reason, right? And he did the design work, the CAT, it's a program like for architect or something like that.
Like AutoCAD, like computer assisted design?
I think so. He said it's CAT. I don't know. I'm probably mispronouncing it.
CAD is CAD, computer assisted design.
Okay.
Is the acronym.
Okay. See, I thought it was CAT.
Like, you probably heard of it.
Okay, so it's CAD. Okay, good. See, I needed correction. But he's done that. But guess what? He's a cook. So I looked at him. I said, one day I'm going to have an academy. I need an architect. I need someone to help me design. I said, you'll be that designer. And people think I'm crazy, and I have like hundreds of connections, like just lines. And I said, one day you'll get a call from me. And if you're not passionate anymore for that, I'm moving forward. I'm moving on.
Or I'll find you another spot, and if not, then you can go your own way. That's the way I am too. I was like, if I can't find you something, you got first dibs, because I'm making this commitment to you now. And no harm, no foul if you just want to go the other way. But if you need opportunity and I have the means to employ you, then you're my person, right? Especially if they know what, like for me, I've scared a few people that I've interviewed, because I flat out tell them,
And this is like being in the restaurant is I'll interview them and they'll be like, yeah, I really want to work here. I said, why do you want to work here? Oh, it looks great. It looks this. I said, all right, so you're going to clean some toilets. You're going to take out the trash and do some dishes. Are you willing to do that? Huh?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I always tell people,
that's the job.
I say I give them 3 times. I give them, you get 3 strikes. It's like baseball. And they say, what happens after 3 strikes? And I was like, you don't want to know. And they're like, oh, one person's like, do you hire somebody? And I was like, no, I don't hire people to do my dirty work. I was like, I'll break your legs myself.
What's funny is like I've told this to people because I'm a big mom, right? So they see me like a mom there, and I've had to, you know, because you work with a lot of teenagers and everyone's emotional and stuff like that. And I look at them, I'm like, look, if there's 2 people fighting, I'll fire both of you.
I've managed people that like got in a fight, and I was like, I don't care you guys are, takes 2 to tango, you're both going home, you know, like.
Yeah. And I only know that is because I'm someone who's a finisher. I'm not a starter. I'm a finisher, and I'll finish it.
My dad always said that. My dad said, he's like, don't ever start a fight, but always make sure you finish it. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll let you get back to it. Thank you so much for coming on. We actually got to talk about your books. So send me the links, anything that you want. I'll put in the comment section of the video, and, you know, good luck. And like, let's line something up maybe for 2 weeks, because this week's really busy for me, but let's keep it in touch every other week for a little while, just to keep in touch.
Just email me to say, hey, this week's good. And then I'll see what break time I can set aside for, because like yesterday my break time was to put my podcast out. I got my podcast out because I'm going through unlocking your true potential with like a guide, the way that helped me. And then with my blog, the other day before that, I got to write my blog, which was a little cute story of how I learned that everything has life in it, you know? So it's like I work in stages like that. And then sometimes, like if I'm so bogged down with like working 6 days a week at work or stuff like that, I say, all right, if I can't do it daily, then what can I do weekly? Like it took me a whole week just to go through all the thumbnails you know, for YouTube. So that week was that focus.
Yeah, that's same with me. I started doing, I was all gung ho. I was going to do daily videos. And then I was like, that's too much. And somebody's like, just do 3 a week, man. And I was like, yeah, that's a good call. Cause I got like, I'm not doing it full time yet. So it's like, I have other work that I need to do. And like, eventually I'd like to get there. But so I was like, daily videos is too much stress and too much out of my day. Like it takes a while to like, you know,
yeah. People don't realize how much time it takes away. And you are like, I'm working for free here. Yeah. So, it's a free, it's like, okay, if you're going to be filled with gratitude, don't expect cash.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was wonderful chatting with you. I'm wishing you all the best. And, you know, I look forward to catching up with you again and hearing the updates down in Texas and where your next stages
I know, I'm going to be like, oh, you're a correspondent over here in Texas.
Oh, as long as you're not getting snow again.
No. Let's see. I don't know if you can see the sky. Look, see. Yeah, all right. So here in Texas, this looks like the weather update.
It was beautiful here in Canada today too. It was about 15 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but I went out for a nice motorcycle ride, and I went and visited my mom and gave her a surprise hug. So yeah, that's
good. Yeah, that's wonderful moments.
Yeah,
making moments.
All right, Joy. Take care. It was wonderful speaking with you again. Bye.
Bye.